Hafa de todos Hamzo, Guau si Michael Luhan Bavakwa, Zaistigi update video para Fanachu para 2022. This is your Fanachu update video for 2022. 2021 was an amazing year for Fanachu. The biggest year, sort of in its 6-year existence at this point. We had some of our biggest episodes ever. We had amazing series, amazing voices. We expanded our reach in so many different ways. And we also instituted things such as regular Finutsumoru, monthly Finutsumoru episodes. We had our navigation, sort of revival of Chamorro seafaring in the Marianas series, which featured 4 episodes. We had a number of Puerto Rican solidarity episodes. We had great episodes connecting with Chamorros in the diaspora. 2021 was huge. And so in this video, we're going to begin talking about where Fanachu is at right now. So, and then also what we have new in store for 2022. And so first off, all of this, all of everything with Fanachu is made possible by Hamzu ni Sumapopoti Fanachu. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. All of you who support Fanachu on Patreon, Hamzu muna posisibli kinalamtan mami. All of you make everything possible. Fanachu, the episodes are free for listening, for download, but because of the support for those of you on Patreon, the support from those of you on Patreon, we're able to offer more content, exclusive content. And one of the things that I'm super excited about is that people are actually able to be supported in their creative, activist, and scholarly work because of the support that you have been able to give Fanachu. And so Fanachu started several years ago. It was all volunteers, supported by the Independent Guam, the Independence for Guam Task Force. We started a Patreon. We didn't have a lot of patrons for a very long time. One of my goals in 2021 was to hit 100 patrons, and we did it. As of today, we are at 184 patrons. And so when I say that 2022 was a big year, and so all of that, what all of that has done is it has made possible that every month, because of the support that you give Fanachu, I am able to give stipends to 6 individuals to help create content for Fanachu. And so at present, at the start of 2022, every month there is regular content that is being put out. Some of it is brand new and some of it I'll be sharing with you today. But all of that is made possible because of those of you who support on Patreon. So for example, everyone who signs up for Fanachu gets access to Cuentos Guahan with Señor Kin Concepcion. Señor Kin Concepcion was initially let go by KOAM during the pandemic. He was their Chamorro language broadcaster, their Chamorro language person. And so when he had told me, and he was a frequent guest on Fanachu, and so I asked him, would you be interested in doing a regular series on Fanachu? Señor Beapacio, I can pay you, I can provide a stipend for you every month if you do. And he agreed. And so as of today, he's put out 10 episodes of Cuentos Guahan, which are about 10-minute reflection pieces, him reflecting on something in Chamorro. We've offered this particularly for those who are looking for more Chamorro to listen to, looking for more ways that you can sort of learn the Chamorro language. One thing that I'm very excited about is just last month, we released the first episode of Chamorro ASMR with Nick Bosmatingan Rice. And so all patrons for Fanachu get access to that. And hopefully in the next few weeks, we will have a second episode that will be coming out. The first episode featured Nick reading reading a message from Johnny Sablan written in Chamorro. on the original notes for Dalai Neni, the first ever sort of Chamorro record. And in the background, he mixed in with his beautiful voice, sort of the audio of a record playing, a needle scratching and stuff like that. It's beautiful. And I'm very excited for his next episode, which should be coming out in the next few weeks. Now, in addition to those things that patrons get, of course, there's the Secret Guam podcast. The last episode covered how you could celebrate the new year in an ancient Chamorro way, talking about the Lukau Fua, talking about what we know from how these possible types of commemorations in the past, what you can do today. And so Secret Guam podcast is one of the favorites of people who support Fanachu. If you are a Hugwa patron and you sign up for at least $10 a month, you get access to the Secret Guam podcast, which comes out 1 to 2 times every month. Ideally twice a month, sometimes just once a month, unfortunately. Those who support at the highest tier, of course, get access to radical readings. The last episode that we had was focused on a very deep dive. It was about a 30-minute deep dive, even though I only intended it to be about 15 minutes, focused on the defeated Guam, draft Guam Constitution in 1979, talking about the historical context, talking about the draft Constitution itself, why it might have failed, why there might be problems with trying to draft a constitution as a territory, right? So these are some of the things that you get. If you sign up as a patron, a new patron, you also get a free shirt and free stickers from Independent Guahan. No, whether you support with $1 a month or $5, $10, $15 a month, whatever you support, you get a free t-shirt and you get free stickers. All right. But so these are things that are in place right now. But let's talk about what's coming this year. And so first off, we are at 184 patrons right now. And last year, in order to reach 100 patrons, I did a Taotaomo'na Tales Patron Challenge. And I'm offering another one right now. So for those of you who have been longer sort of patrons for Fanachu, I did a series on Taotaomo'na Tales. Every 5 new patrons that Fanachu received, I put out another episode of Taotaomo'na Tales, which was a Taotaomo'na story, which you probably wouldn't hear. Some of them are spooky, some of them are profound, some of them are tragic. All of them show a different angle to understanding the phenomenon of the Taotaomo'na, the spirituality, the culture, sort of even the layers of colonialism and its impact that we find in these stories. My goal for these is not only to pass on stories, but also just to have fun telling stories. But it's also that we change our perception and that we remind the next generation that the Taotaomo'na is not just a ghost story, but the Taotaomo'na, that there is this depth, this history to it, this deeper spirituality to it. And so if I get one more patron, then I will release one more episode. And then once we get to 190, there'll be another episode. 195, there'll be another episode. And then for 200, we have something very special planned for the 200th episode. Sumahi has been illustrating for it. Desiree, who does the Fanachu highlight videos, she will be editing it. Super excited about it. And so if you want to hear more very, very hard to find Taotaomo'na stories, ask one of your friends, suggest to one of your friends they sign up for as little as $1 a month. In addition to that, though, I am very excited for Matapang's Canoe Club. So Manny Cruz is the godfather of Fanachu. Manny Cruz was the creator of Fanachu. When he was just volunteering to help Independent Guahan back in 2016, he said, let's start a podcast. And for a few years, Fanachu was driven primarily by the bank accounts of me or Manny and the donations of anybody who was willing to help. You know, for when we reached 20 patrons, we were super excited about it. And so he unfortunately took a step back from Fanatsu in terms of organizing it, producing it, hosting it, although he has been a regular guest. He recently finished his PhD and is back on island as a professor at the University of Guam. And I invited him and I asked him, I said, would you just like to do a monthly segment for Fanatsu? You can do whatever you want. And I can provide you a stipend just to sort of support you and your efforts. He said yes. And so I'm excited that before the end of this month, you'll be getting the first episode of Matapang's Canoe Club. If you are sort of keen to scholarly literature, then you will recognize the reference to Matapang's Canoe Club. It's a reference to a particular scholar from Guam who and so I believe that he will be the first guest for the first episode of Matapang's Canoe Club. But yes, if this is something that is, if you sign up as a patron, you can get access to this and to so much else. I'm super excited about this. It doesn't look like much here perhaps, but one thing that I really wanted to do just to promote Fanatsu, but also to thank those who have been so supportive of Fanatsu, is to create a t-shirt. And so we went through a whole bunch of designs. Sumahi came up with some designs. I sketched some designs. Desiree sketched some designs. We had a whole bunch. And then eventually Jack came up with this. And I kind of like it. It's cute. I love that it has the moon. I love that it has the sakman. And so at some point in the next few months, we will be putting this shirt out there. The details aren't known because we haven't sort of gotten quotes for how much they'll cost. But I would love it if it was possible to give them free to patrons. If it's not, then we would definitely offer the t-shirts at a greatly reduced rate to patrons. and then a regular price for those who are not. But these are the types of things that Fanatsu has in store for 2022. And I'm committed to, and in response to some of the feedback that I've gotten, about the types of episodes that people want, the voices that people would like to listen to, always remember that Fanatsu really comes from the community. It's me who does it nowadays. Just because I enjoy doing it, I feel obligated to keep this Sakman sailing ahead. And I love the fact that it gives me the ability to have conversations with people that I want to talk about issues that I feel are important, to document it, to record it, to put it out there. And so, but if you have any suggestions, if you, for any of the content, for anything that we can do, if you want to help support Fanatsu, the larger that we grow, the more people that Fanatsu can then in turn support. And that's what I love. Gofzahu Enaunay Puresti is that I want to try as much as possible that this sort of work in a Tsinsuli framework, that the money that comes in from patrons, that I find ways to give it to others to support their work. So that if somebody like Manny, for example, if he needs that little nudge to create conversations or content that he wouldn't otherwise, I'm happy to support him. Somebody like Senor Kin Conception, who has been sort of creating Chamorro content for decades now, it's important to me that he still be supported, that he can still be putting that content out there, because it's so important now more than ever, as we are losing so many speakers, as more and more people are trying to learn, that we create the resources that make it easier for them to learn, that we fill as much as we can the world around them with Chamorro. And for others too. There's some people that I haven't mentioned who are also receiving stipends every month for doing certain things. I'm excited because one of them, Curtis, will hopefully be creating like an intro to Fanatsu, because when you listen to it when you listen to Fanatsu, sometimes it just abruptly starts because it's literally just me taking the me taking the audio from the Facebook Live. But I wanted to, before I go, I wanted to remind everybody that Fanachu is available on multiple streaming platforms. Our biggest platform right now is Spotify. As of today, I think we have more than 2,500 downloads of Fanachu since we started a few months ago, uploading audio versions onto Buzzsprout and then placing it in different pages. So Spotify is a big one. Apple Podcasts is where you can find all of our episodes too. Even Google Podcasts, Facebook Podcasts. And what I've been doing is that every week when there's a new episode, I upload it. But I've been going back over the past year or two, and then taking the audio and then uploading those as well. And so, expensive. So excited. One final thing, because for me, when we first started Fanachu a few years ago, when we first started doing like Patreon, it was stressful. We never really thought that we would get that many people. In fact, when we got to like 30, we were so excited and so happy. And so I feel very privileged and very happy that so many people have decided to support Fanachu as patrons. So many people listen to it, share it, comment, and watch it. That's very important. But those who decide to basically give $1, $10, $15 every month to support what Fanachu is, and now muna sen maguf judza husen agradesya now. I tadza finohu pari agradecimiento. And so one thing that I have been doing since late last year, just because I feel so happy that Fanachu has received so much support, is uploading songs from Chamorro vinyl records that I have onto the Fanachu YouTube page. And so I've been doing it just for fun. I usually have Akli'i help me. He helps me record them. He helps me sort of write down the information for the records. But if you are in the mood for some Joti Timing Low, some old school Johnny Sablan, even some lesser known, but still very crucial, like the Delgado brothers, the Tatfras brothers, Sigas and Sidal, even the Iriarte family. I just, I've been collecting Chamorro vinyl for the past few years, and I felt frustrated a few times when a song that I was looking for wasn't already on YouTube. So then I just decided to show my love for the Fanachu patrons, that I would just start to upload. And so I think as of today, there have been 52 uploads. There was a few for Christmas. The last one that I uploaded was actually a Maori / Chamorro song that the Iriarte family, they learned it while they were in Festpac in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And then they brought it back, and they would sometimes perform it in English. When they recorded it, though, they sang it in Maori, and then they also translated it into Chamorro. And so, but yes, this is just a ginini fonda ni corazon hune. Yeah, I have been blown away by all of the support that Fanachu has received. Inoi minagahit. Really, to go from this, which literally me and then a few volunteers used to just record in classrooms at the University of Guam in 2016 and 2017, to then having great people such as Manny Cruz, Lawrence Lezama or Siguenzama come through, produce episodes, keep it going, and then finally sort of the mantle being passed to me during the pandemic, and then keeping it going. It's just been so touching to see the support that Fanachu has received. And so zahonay na besangane am sutalo ginini fondo ni corazon hu hugo fagradesi hamzu todos ni sumopopoti estikinalampten mami. And so let's look forward to 2022. We have some big things planned, as I shared. And I'm certain we're going to make it to 200 patrons. But remember, if you want more Taotaomo'na stories, get your cousin to sign up. Si Zeus Masi. Adios. Stiki Manali Hital.